This video is brought to you by Trend Micro's Cleaner One Pro. macOS Ventura is a fact, and despite being in a buggy developer beta, I had the chance to spend some time with it and I have some thoughts. And no, I will not be talking about Stage Manager because I'm honestly not sure how I feel about it. Instead, I'll focus on the more day-to-day useful aspects and list of improvements that I personally find fascinating. Starting with the most impressive and perhaps most useful integration that ties the iPhone even further with the Mac: FaceTime and continuity. What does that mean? When on a FaceTime call, or even in photo booth, I can select the phone as my video source. It happens automatically, or it can be triggered manually by selecting the video source to be the iPhone. Of course, the iPhone needs to be running iOS 16 as well. Once the connection is established, by far the most impressive thing is the fact that there is almost no delay or lag. I can move around the iPhone and the feed remains immaculate, and what's more, it seems to be running at 60 frames per second. And to show you that, I'm actually recording this video in 60 frames per second so you can see how smooth it is. Since it can use the rear cameras of the device, I am shocked at how good it looks and how it autofocuses. Far better than any webcam I have tested. I can't wait to experiment with it with more people as these software versions become public. This is a game changer for meetings if you ask me. Also, I am sure that accessories manufacturers are extremely happy right now, since there will be plenty of crazy solutions for propping the devices via MagSafe on desks and monitors. On the other side, webcam manufacturers might not be so excited. By using the rear cameras for connection, we can toggle portrait mode and later on center stage, studio light, and even the top-down trickery that should be available. The integration of using the iPhone with the Mac as a video source is pretty much throughout the system, and as expected, you can select the iPhone as a microphone source as well. One place that it doesn't work at the moment that I hope will change further down the line is when using Final Cut Pro, directly recording in the timeline. That will be great. No matter if you're running macOS Ventura or Monterey or even an older version of macOS, it is always important to optimize its performance and keep it fresh. Trend Micro's Cleaner One Pro is a fantastic macOS all-around maintenance tool. From privacy protection to storage optimization, Cleaner One Pro helps you take control and keep your Mac clean and fast. One of my most used features of Cleaner One Pro is the App Manager. It allows me to see all my apps, how much space they take, their additional library files, and how they are spread throughout the system, and it allows me to properly uninstall them without leaving a trace of their existence. Pairing that with the built-in disk cleaner, which safely deletes junk, duplicate, and large files, including similar photos, and I can be sure that I'm using my storage to its full potential. Of course, that's just a small part of what Cleaner One Pro can do on the Mac. It is an essential tool for every Mac user, so check out the first link in the description below to install Cleaner One Pro for free. Handoff, or the ability to transfer a call from the iPhone to the Mac and back, is also something that I see myself using a lot. During a phone call on the iPhone, once you get close to the Mac, you get a prompt to transfer over the call. If the call is initiated on the Mac, while on it, the iPhone showcases a little phone icon which you can tap to make the switch. The transition is visualized with a nice transition on the other end of the line. I see myself jumping from a FaceTime call on the iPhone to the Mac and then immediately into a shared screen. Live captions work fantastic on both the iPhone and macOS Ventura during FaceTime call or anywhere else for that matter. It works lightning fast, and it will come in handy when on a group call where one might miss a word or a statement due to something. What might be even better is the option to save the transcribed conversation later, which I'm not sure if it would be a feature to be expected or not. If I really want to feel like I'm Tony Stark who's talking to Jarvis, all I have to do is activate voice command in system settings. In fact, at this stage of creating the script for the video, the remaining of everything I say is via voice command. It is not only helpful when putting your thoughts into text, but also for opening applications and triggering all sorts of commands. Let me show you what I mean. Open Safari. Spelling mode. Press return key. Quit Safari. Quit messages. Open text edit. Click new document. Dictation mode.
This is unbelievable.
You see what I mean? This is unbelievable. In system settings, I can create my own commands, which means that even if I'm not using voice command to its initial purpose, I can take full advantage of it and integrate it into my workflow. It is not a problem to keep it active because when I'm not needing it, I can just put it to sleep. By the way, there's a spelling mode that I can activate for when I want to spell out a complicated name or place.
THISE.TECH.
Spotlight has taken an example from apps such as Alfred, and it is now able to take actions. For example, I can trigger a timer from Spotlight by just typing timer and specifying the duration of it. Most people might find better use in activating shortcuts. I have a shortcut for triggering a recording focus mode where my device goes into do not disturb mode. With just few symbols, I can be ready for my next recording all without lifting my fingers from the keyboard. Searching in Spotlight can also use information from images in my photo gallery to quickly display the results I'm looking for. For example, if I want to refer to a photo of my bike, all I have to do is summon Spotlight and type motorcycle, and immediately I find what I'm looking for. Spotlight improvements are not features that we haven't seen before, but it's nice to have this out-of-the-box deep integration. Now here's something really cool. In Wi-Fi settings, we can now copy the passwords for a specific network that has remained saved on the computer. Although you can't reveal the password directly, copying it is just as helpful, especially if you have forgotten it by any chance. I see this as a great parents and grandparents hack. Deleting and making correction to messages can also save the day. You can edit a message for up to 15 minutes after it was sent. Same goes for unsending any message. Since I have the habit of leaving to-do emails unread, the ability to mark a message as unread is definitely something that I'll take full advantage of. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate it at this version of Ventura beta that I have, but while we're at it, I have to point out the additional Memoji upgrades that we can take advantage of. There's one in particular that describes my current situation. Take a look at it. The body language reads, "If you are enjoying this video, subscribe because why not?" Buried deep under the accessibility settings is my favorite white noise option called background sound. When in a loud public place, and most often when putting my kids to sleep, white noise is something that I use a lot. Now, I'm not sure why it's buried deep into accessibility settings again, but it's a feature that I'll take full advantage of. I just hope that we'll soon be able to place it in Control Center like on the iPhone and the iPad. Reference mode is a feature that made me upgrade my iPad Pro to the latest iPad OS developer beta. In my recent desk setup video, which I'll link at the end of this one, I briefly mentioned it and showcased my workflow. When enabled, reference mode brings the iPad into color critical mode that should be experienced in controlled environment, meaning dark editing room. When that mode is enabled, the 12.9-inch iPad Pro with Liquid Retina XDR display matches the color requirements in workflows like color grading and compositing, where accurate colors and consistent image quality are critical. Note that this works only with the XDR iPad and Apple Silicon. Now let's note some more interesting and exciting and well-deserved features. The Home app now looks the way it was supposed to look years ago. It is finally useful and makes sense. It is organized in a meaningful manner where I have group and categories of HomeKit accessories that give me an understandable overview of the house, or in my case the studio. Categories for lights, climate, security, speakers and TV allow me to quickly access all the relevant accessories organized by room. Also, we now have a dedicated weather app, which makes me wonder why it took so long. I can click on any module to reveal a deeper set of data such as hourly temperature and precipitation over the next 10 days. Animated backgrounds of the weather conditions are very cool, by the way. Also, and most importantly, I can get notifications including critical alerts, which is much appreciated. Here's an interesting fact. We still don't have a calculator widget for the notification pane. Give it another 4 to 6 years. If you're recently switching to the Mac, check out my Mac OS beginner's guide here, and if you're an avid Mac user, my latest cool Mac recommendation apps video might catch your interest. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and click on the bell icon, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is E, Over and out.